I'm Nora LaTorre here with Nourished with Nora. I am so happy today because I have here the CEO and co-founder of the Plunge, Ryan Dewey, who's one of my favorite leaders, favorite CEOs, and leads one of my favorite companies out there. So excited to have you here, Ryan.
Awesome to be here. Fun to feel like we were just on Summit.
Yeah.
About a year ago.
Yeah, it's like one year. And then I think maybe 2 years that we've been partnering together. You were one of Eat Real's first donors, corporate donors that really started, that helped us.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were that early.
Yeah, we hadn't had a lot of corporate partnerships. And then you came in and helped the nonprofit where I'm the CEO, Eat Real, really start to grow our program and deepen our impact and storytell. And so, yeah, you were one of our first, you kind of like started our one of our corporate partnership programs.
Love it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm so happy to have you here. I want to just plunge into plunging because I am a plunge partner and I became plunge obsessed. And so I just want you to walk through, why do you plunge?
Because it makes me feel better. You do it for, I don't go at super crazy temperatures. I don't go for super long, but I just get in and I feel a certain way before and then I feel a certain way after, and it works every single time. And I just love doing things that make me feel good. So that's like the most simple answer to it.
I love it. It makes you feel amazing. That's like what life is about. So how long do you typically go and what temperature?
2 minutes,
okay.
48 to 50 degrees.
Okay.
It's like that's my morning. Like I wake up, first thing, get out of bed, walk, get my cold plunge. I think brush my teeth first and then go get in the cold plunge, and that's my morning. And then I'll, about a couple other days a week, I'll do sauna cold plunge, and that changes timing a little bit.
Do you ever do it twice a day, 2 days?
We have a really cool contrast room at our headquarters here. So
I love it.
It's a pretty cool part of the business. So, there's like afternoon meetings that get taken in the sauna. So of course you're hopping in there and I'll get in the cold. So those are when it's like I got a 2-a-day going. It's usually here at the headquarters.
I love it. Okay. Well, let's just go there really quick. I want to talk about social sauning for a second. I feel like that's a trend that's happening around the country. Like there are more, spaces that are opening up where people can social sauna. I feel like I'm trying to convince my husband we should get a sauna so that we can have like happy hour. He says no one will do it, but he said my friends wouldn't come over and plunge, and they come over and plunge all the time. So I feel like that's kind of a trend I'm hearing about that happening in DC and New York, and not, and all throughout the country. People are starting to have more like social time around saunaing and plunging. Are you seeing that?
100%. I mean, we see it. It's obviously, been that case in culture in Europe, especially in the Nordic countries. That's been there for, decades and longer. I think in the US, we're seeing it in the commercial categories. It's growing. The companies like Othership and, tons of these social settings that are set up.
And 2 or 3 open here in California. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's opening across the board. And I think it's an interesting thing because it's combining like human connection, which I think coming out of the last few years, like that's been like, we've been starved for that. We've wanted that. We wanted that in real life experience. And then you throw in the sauna and it's just like this ultimate like connection vulnerability tool. And you just start sweating with someone and you end up opening up even more. You feel more connected to them. It's kind of this, it's getting hotter. There's
a hard thing together.
Yeah. It's CrossFit took off under this context. It was like suffering, like doing something.
Shared suffering. Team building is shared suffering. 100%. Yeah.
And I think sauna is, we're seeing that in our business, and I'm just observing that in kind of the culture that's happening at large.
And your own team. I think we're a fully remote workplace, so we don't have that today. But I think I love that you also walk the talk and have it there. So just to get back to plunging really quickly, so because that's what started kind of my journey. And so we were talking about how you started in the morning, and when I plunge in the morning, I feel amazing. Wake up in the dark, just get in. It's like, if I can do that and start my day like that, I feel like I can do anything. It's like creates this invincibility feeling for me where I'm like, I can do hard things and like, I can crush it today. And so that's one benefit I think is like you said, it makes you feel really good. And for me, it's like makes me feel invincible. And then I think let's talk about some of the other benefits though, because I've also done it at night sometimes. And I live in a really old house and we don't have really good heat regulation. And so when I do it at night, it actually helps me sleep cooler. So it helps. I've seen that it helps my sleep a lot because like my
Yep.
physical body is colder. What other kinds of, have you seen that? What other kinds of benefits have you seen from plunging? Or do you
I
hear
mean,
people report? I feel like everyone has their own different reason why they do
totally.
it.
It's actually the struggle we have sometimes in the marketing side because there's a number of benefits and it impacts people so differently. So it's like we're always debating how do we, simplify this in our messaging. Um, what the mental health side and what that, and there's so much to that, whether it's depression or just your overall mood or
Mm-hmm.
that is like to me at the core, like
Yeah.
that's happening for every single person. You're having this neuro cocktail of all the feel good chemicals that are rushing into your brain and through your body that's what it's doing. It's setting, it's
Yeah.
like, it's igniting that response. And so you're going to come out and you're going to feel electric and you have this sustained electricity throughout. It's not a
Mm.
up and down, which is kind of the magic of it. You get it,
Yeah.
it's like a daily dose that you can take and
Mm-hmm.
it sustains for 12 to 18 hours with you throughout the day. And then you do it again the next day. And there's a consistency to it. We see there's preliminary studies into another study I just looked at. I was doing like a meta-analysis of people on immune system. Saw like a 30% from the control group compared to the group that was they were using cold showers, and they saw a 30% improvement in their immune systems and sickness over a extended window of time. That's definitely there. I think it's still we're a little bit not sure of what's actually happening there. My theory is that there's a healthy level of adrenaline that we all need in our lives,
Yeah.
and you can have too much adrenaline and you can actually get sick. But
Yeah.
if you don't have any adrenaline, you can get sick. And there's a place that you want to hold your body with adrenaline being a precursor. It's something we see a lot with like people when they go on vacation. You could be ramped up for work and then you go on vacation and you're so calm and then you get sick. It's like there is to me, it's adrenaline's kind of that precursor. Anyways, cold,
Mm-hmm.
I think is a piece that you can use that as a tool to make sure your adrenaline's in a healthy spot. And you
Yeah.
can also overdo it. We see it with sauna and cold. People do too much of that. You're going to
Yeah.
overdo it. And,
Sorry, I
medicine.
meant too many minutes because I was like, I'm so competitive. And I think you messaged
I
like,
think I
Nora,
messaged
don't do that
you.
or don't head dunk too much. Like, don't like maybe one head dunk to start things off. I tried that. And then I was like, I got the freeze a little bit. And so, yeah, you don't want to overdo it, which, yeah.
Yeah. That's, just like anything. You don't want to overdo
Yeah.
your workouts. You want to
Yeah.
push it, but you can push too far. And that's similar to cold and sauna. And, there's a healthy threshold there. But what's fun is we're still discovering that. There's more and
Yeah.
more studies that are coming out into what that is. I think it's a unique modality to, we talk about like how we respond to fight or flight or stress.
Yeah.
It is like you do it every single morning, and no matter what you get in, you're going to get your breath taken away,
Yeah.
and you're going to get this heightened, lose your breath, kind of have to control yourself into this environment, no matter how often you do it. And I think that's a really unique exercise that just we don't get to do
Mm-hmm.
in most, like life isn't that way.
Yeah.
You
It's
cannot,
so intense. And then you have to self-regulate.
and it's coming. Like most of the
Yeah.
time when something gets so intense, it's when it's unknown. Like someone
Mm-hmm.
cuts you off or someone yells at you. But if you know it's
Yeah.
coming, it's kind of like, okay, I'm not that stressed out over it. But cold is the one thing where you have to mentally prepare and know I'm going to go in this experience and have this adrenaline dump and have to regulate myself through it. And I
Yeah.
think it's a unique experience that we don't get to do that very often.
Yeah, totally. I do think it makes us calmer in a way, base intensity and more resilient. And I do think it makes us tougher. Like I'm someone who kind of runs cold, even though I'm Minnesotan, so I should be a polar bear, fine in the cold. But I just went to Good Hot, which is in Richmond, California, which is sauna, and then you can take a cold shower or plunge in the bay. And I was able to like stay in there. And I was like, this made me tougher and I can like handle the elements more. And I also just don't feel as cold throughout the day because I'm like, oh, it might be a little bit cold, but nothing is as cold as being in that plunge. So I feel like it also just like makes you tough in a way that we don't always get challenged with being tough, like, so I just love how it brings out this like calm toughness though.
100%. It's well said. I like that calm toughness.
So I want to talk about plunge tips. So when my friends come over, I'm that friend who definitely like has extra swimsuits and towels and stuff, like just in case, or like we'll say bring it over if you want. So like be warned anyone that comes over to my house. But I always tell them my top tip is that, the first 10 seconds you want to just get out, and then the first 30 seconds suck. It's just so hard, and you're freezing up, and you have to breathe through it. If you can make it through 30 seconds, and we usually put a song on because song and distracts your brain, and actually then like there's this amazing TED Talk by Dr. Amy that I love about this, but I put on music, I have them pick their favorite song because it distracts the brain from pain. And then I'm like, if you can make it the first 30 seconds, you can make it 3 minutes. Like you can do it, and don't have to go as cold. But that's my first like tip is like make it 30 seconds and then breathe through to 3 minutes, and you will be so proud of yourself at the end of that. So that's my pro tip that I always share with friends. So I'm curious, what are your top 3 pro tips for plunging?
Yeah, I think you nailed it on just making it as simple as possible, especially on your first time. Like, don't overthink it. I think other things you can add into it, you talk about the head dunk. It sounds like this crazy veteran move, but it actually makes it easier.
Explain the head dunk.
So the head dunk, the technical term is the mammalian dive reflex. What that actually means, I can't explain, but I would say the simplest way I can put it is like you go under and you're at the most extreme, and then you regulate so much quicker. So you go under, hold your nose, hold your head back. There's nothing, it goes straight to the head is the spot that gets
head rush
first. Yeah. And you kind of go there for a second, and then you come out and everything just feels actually warmer. And so you can kind of like calm into it a lot quicker. So it seems so intense, but I'm like, if you just do it, it will make it easier. So it's very counterintuitive. So that'd be one. But I'd say if you can get in and hold your nose and go back, that's a great one. And then just like you said, it's the first 30 seconds are going to be the most extreme, and just focus on your breath. Like I like to go, inhales half as long as your exhale, and just kind of just breathe in and out. And
almost Lamaze style breathing. Yeah. Just like really breathe out. Yeah. And I do think it's meditative. Like, I don't think we talk about that as much. I think people that plunge, but that 3 minutes of breathing, that just like I don't, even I've seen on my Oura Ring 2 minutes of breathing, my heart rate lowers, my body temperature lowers. And so I do think there's something really powerful about all you really can do in the plunge is breathe and meditate. And you're focusing on 1 or 2 things, you're breathing. And to your point, you're trying to deep breathe if you can, so that you can calm your nervous system. So I do think it's just like really powerful when it comes to meditation. And I'm not someone who can slow down a lot throughout the day. So it is that forced slowdown that's really powerful.
Yeah, it's a unique one for, especially like you said, maybe a type A personality or someone that, or just doesn't.
Just kidding.
Or doesn't have a meditation practice. It is a backdoor into that, because you're going to come out with that feeling. Like your brain, it is the apps are off. Like your brain is singularly focused when you come out. Yeah. You're not thinking about all the things you have to do. And I think you talked about heart rate. Like that's something we look at a lot from like a data perspective of, because you get in and you get the heightened heart rate, your heart rate spikes.
Yeah.
But there is a place that you want to get your heart rate down, and we're still kind of discovering what that's, and it varies per person, but it's more off of like where it started at and where you want to get it down to. And that's a really strong signal of like a successful plunge. Because you don't want to get in there and be in fight or flight the whole time. Like you will be in fight or flight, like you talked about this first 30 seconds, but the whole goal is to start to surrender into it and kind of relax your system in this stressful environment. And it's an important piece to the experience, because if you're not doing that, it could just be that you're sending pure stress to your body.
Yeah.
And so I think the heart rate is it's kind of like a next phase as you get a few plunges into it. It's like, it's a signal you want to be looking at, is like, is my heart rate calming down while I'm in here? And you'll get more used to it. And it's something you get better at as you go, and you learn that skill.
Yeah, I felt that. I think now I'll like check my Oura Ring and whatnot to see, and then trying to figure out also then what's my sweet spot. And I just unlocked optimal resilience and sleep on my Oura Ring. So I'm like, however I can repeat that. So I'll start nerding out on that. I think that's what's so cool.
What's optimal resilience mean on Oura?
It's a combination, and I'm not a total expert, but it's a combination of how well you recover from an intense day, and how much your nervous system can reset, how your sleep scores are, the balance, I believe, between your kind of exercise and then your rest. And so when you have good resilience, then it's a indicator that you could have a stronger immune system, that you're actually and then there's also readiness, where you're then ready for the day. So like trying to unlock readiness and resilience and sleep. So I'm still learning out on all their data, and I've been doing Aura for about a year. And so it's been just fun. I think it's so cool. We're in this era of personalized medicine where we have now all this tech tools where you can actually monitor and see, okay, I tried a plunge, I tried a sauna, I did an intense run, I did a hard workout. How did that impact my sleep? How did that impact my heart rate? How did it impact my readiness or my resilience? And you can get biofeedback from yourself, because everybody's there are some standard things that we can all do, and they're just generally good, right? Like enough exercise, good night of sleep, but there are changes that we can make, and then we can see for ourselves, how did that have an impact? Like I had a couple drinks with friends last weekend, and it tanked my scores. Like it tanked my HRV, which is the parasympathetic nervous system, how calm I was at night. It ruined my sleep score, my readiness. Like it was like, I could see it right away. I was like, oh yeah, the Surgeon General just came out with a warning on alcohol. And like, I just saw it on my Oura ring, like not like, okay. But also I had an amazing and fun night with some of my best friends and oldest friends. So,
great,
like, happiness levels high. So like, okay. But I just think it's such an interesting world where we can see now with data and all these tools, how different things impact us. And I feel like Plunge is one of those things that it's definitely helped me in so many different ways. So thank you. I want to pivot a little bit and talk about leadership, because you're one of my favorite leaders out there. I love like catching up with you every single time I see you. I've been to your headquarters when we were announcing the Eat Real partnership with Plunge. I see you in action on Instagram and on LinkedIn, and you're just like out there and you're just so vibrant. And so I just want to talk a little bit about your leadership style. So first of all, when I went to the Plunge headquarters, you had your values up on the wall, and I love it. Could you walk us through like what your values are and what they mean and why they're up on the wall?
Yeah. So we actually moved. We have a new headquarters. Well, we still have that building, and we moved our cold production. So you have to come up and see the new facility.
I'm in. And to go to what's the room called? The biohacking room? It's not the biohacking room. The wellness room?
The contrast room?
Contrast room. Yeah, the contrast room. Yeah.
Now it's way bigger. We have multiple saunas, multiple cold plunges. Okay, cool. It's a good setup. We have 5 core values in the company. This is kind of we interview off these, we hire off of these, we do reviews off of these. One of my favorite things is we do, like in our executive weekly meeting, we do like shout outs based off the value. So, and the values we have 5 of them. First one's all in, is as it sounds, you're all into the task at hand, not just in like your career, but like you take on a project, like commit to it, go all in. It's pretty straightforward. We have another one called I got you. And it's a terminology that we utilize. We say like, I got you, like we got you. Yeah. And it basically means like extreme ownership. If you say, I got you, you see it you're going to finish it. You're going to take it to the finish line. You can trust that it's going to be handled. We have another one.
Jocko style. I love it.
Exactly. It's just own your project and trust your teammate. We have another one. It's called All Boats Rise. This is just win-win relationships. It's something like, if something's good for the company, it's going to be good for you, and vice versa. The company succeeding, employees are going to succeed. If employees are succeeding, the company's succeeding. It's also important to me in like kind of external relationships. Like this was one of my core this was a big value that I wanted in this company before even launching Plunge. Is I'm just not into the zero-sum game. I don't believe in it. It's, in a negotiation, it should be both parties can come out winning. So it's something that, we check in with partners that we're there with, like, do you feel good about this? If it feels like a one-sided thing, then we're not in a good relationship here. And we need to readdress it. So that's I
love how long game it is too. Like, it's not just like about right now. Like, you could be transactional right now, like who wins, but it's like, how do you rise a tide long-term too?
Totally. And it's, and are we perfect in any of these values today all the time? No, absolutely not. But like, we are focused on them. We do this thing, we do pulse surveys. So this is important, like we have the P&L financial side to the business. which are important. We have budgetary meetings with every department, and that, of course, financial health of the business is essential. But we also have these pulse surveys where everyone in the organization takes an anonymous survey around each specific questions that we raise, and we get real like aggregated data of where we're stacking up. And these questions, we add new ones, but a lot of them are repeats over the years. So we can really, now that we're about 5 years into the biz, we're starting to see trends. We see areas like, oh, we're falling short here. We need to get action plan in the executive team. It's less on who the individual is talking. It's more of like, oh, we have a real snapshot of the business. Yeah. And then I, as a budget meetings, like financially, I meet with department heads. I actually have monthly meetings on the pulse surveys with every department head to know how their department's doing. And it's less of like they're in trouble, of more of like action planning. If they're succeeding, what's going on? What are you guys doing?
This is the pulse. How are we going to make the pulse better, right?
Exactly. So that's a big one. We have two more values. We have one called Find Your Edge, growth mindset, being uncomfortable. It's pretty simple here at our company. You get cold, we do it with the cold plunge. We want to do it in our lives as well. So taking on hard things, physical feats, career feats, being comfortable, that's a big one. And then the last one is called courageously direct. Say what needs to be said, be straight up with your coworkers, and no gossip. So those are the 5 values that we have. We're constantly evaluating ourselves there, and but they've been helpful. They drive, takes a lot of thought out of things. We can really see where we stack in those 5 areas, and it's been a huge addition to the company.
I love these. I love that. I saw them up at the wall and how aspirational they are, but that you bring it down to the monthly level, bring that feedback to each department head, and then actually then make changes in action planning. I feel like that is leadership in action. So really quick, talking about Find Your Edge and growth mindset. I feel like you're king of this. I feel like what is Ryan up to now? But I saw that you're finding your edge with some team members where you're training for a marathon with some different team members. Talk to me about that. And is that part of that, or how did that start, and what are you up to?
So it had been on my mind of doing something really hard. I like feats that I can work towards, and that's always there, but I hadn't had anything for a few months. And I was, the marathon was, I run, but not like that.
Yeah.
And so that was always like, oh, and I just hadn't committed to it. And then the marketing team approached me and said, hey, would you want to run a marathon? And I said, okay, yes, but what's going on? And the concept was Tegan, who's in our marketing department, her goal will have to get 20,000 app downloads in the quarter. And if she doesn't, she has to run the marathon with you. And I said, I'm all in, let's do it. And so we crafted kind of a social campaign around it, had some fun around it.
Fun.
Now we're about 3 to 4 weeks out from the marathon. It's looking like she's not going to hit the number. So she's training. So it looks like she's going to be running the marathon with me in LA in 3 weeks here. So that was that was a supernatural, it's a brand moment. We get to play it on social. It's how our company works. We got a 5K after work with the whole organization today. So we're going to be out doing
fun. Oh my gosh, you got everyone involved. And you did the dip for a run too. So you already you've been doing different activations at runs and whatnot.
It's been a big category for us. We really focused on CrossFit about a year and a half ago. Now we've really transitioned into the endurance running community.
Yeah.
The natural, a lot of our team got into it. So we were naturally inclined to it. And I think it's one of the best recovery ways to recover
for ultra runners. Yeah.
So we've been just trying to ingrain ourselves into it and be a part of the community. Yeah, exactly.
I love it. I was an ultra marathon mountain runner, mostly just out in the mountains with my husband. That was my jam. But I did train with a former team at a former organization running around Mount Tam, and we would go on long runs, and it was so bonding as a team. And then it was just, I ran it with my husband, but not with my team. But it was just so much fun. So I can only imagine actually running it with your team would be so epic.
What's your longest run?
Well, I did that. That was a 50K, and it was 6,800 feet of elevation gain. So pretty gnarly, but I've done 100 miles over 4 days. I've done some long, but that was in Patagonia on the circuit in Torres del Paine, which is up mountains and down mountains, in a snowstorm, really gnarly, I've gone we went on a sabbatical and we went trail running in New Zealand and then in Chile and Argentina. And I ran the Fitzroy. I was just not all the way up it, obviously, but would like run it. So I got real into it. And I did this summer, I did a little one on the PCT, but it was like hot and hard. And I just did it with a friend kind of, and we did, but then afterwards I iced in the river and it felt amazing. Like and I was like totally fine after that hard run. I felt so alive. And I felt like it was the combination of like high heat, high elevation, hard run in the mountains, and then like amazing plunge in the river. I wasn't at home, so I didn't have my plunge, but I could just go in the river. So
it's like dessert getting in the cold after.
Oh, I did it twice actually. Like I took a little break right before we finished the run and then I went again. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do like super long again. I have this idea that I want to do some hut to hut running, like in Denver and then in the Dolomites and stuff. And there's definitely it's just like a really cool way to travel, like to go around places. Like you can see more of the places. So, and my kids are getting into running. So I'm like, ooh, we can do family trips, I think in the future, running and stuff would be really fun. I have this idea I can train and become my healthiest self so that I have this, like, I haven't said this out loud, but like that I can hut to hut run with my kids, like go on some running vacations as a fam would be so fun.
How old are they now?
They're 4 and 6.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So she's just out mountain biking today. They're definitely going to crush it. So
that's great.
It's going to be fun. And they both have plunged too. So they feel amazing with their little biking. So cool. One really quick, just getting back to leadership a little bit. I know that we talked about running and activity and whatnot. What's one like very Ryan leadership principle?
I don't really think in principles
or like approach or like something that's different, like something that's very you.
Approach is I always lead with a question. It's how I like to be received, and I always like assume the best in people. Not this like from a ignorance perspective, but like I don't view people as like you're trying to do something wrong or you're trying to you were being sneaky or anything like that. So it's like I always operate from that first principle, and then it's a question of what led you to this decision, regardless if I agree to it or if I'm in counter to it.
Just like seek to understand. That's like different than like, interrogating something in a negative way. Yeah.
Yep. And that's my, it brings down the hostility. It brings clarity before there's misunderstanding. I think it diffuses any defensiveness. People have a chance to, explain how they got to where they are, which I think is, so that's been, it's a pretty go-to approach for me.
I love that. I love that for like work, for life, for kids, the whole thing. I think, do you have like a prompt that you use? I sometimes try to use like, tell me more or something. That's a Kelly Corrigan line from a book that she wrote that I love, but it's like, what do you have like a kind of a prompt that you do to remember? I know it's probably just natural now that you do it all the time, but is there like something that you say that helps you remember to do that? Like a Ryan line?
Genuinely, it's genuine curiosity.
Yeah.
Like
it's like, get curious, but your prompt to yourself, it's like, get curious about this.
Yeah. It's, I want them to feel comfortable with me. I want people to feel comfortable. I want, I think we have a kick-ass team. Yeah. And so I trust a lot of their decision-making, and I want them to feel comfortable with that. And it's genuinely like I guess it's also like when I come with my opinion, more often than not, I'm not here of like this, I have the answer. Like we're still working towards some outcome. That's not like, I just am coming into, this is what it is. And most of the time it's still like, let's work towards something. So I need to know, like, what was your thinking of how did we get to this spot? What led to, who was involved in this? Like just trying to grasp the ingredients that led to this point. And then, we can dissect it. And it's, I think a thing that we do well in the org is we try, again, I say all this stuff, like there's always gaps. Like we can always be better.
So humble. I love it. Yeah. I feel the same way. It's like work in progress.
Yeah. But we try and get to, it's less of like why we got here or how we got here, but like what is truth and where are we going?
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So it's like distilling down to like, I don't care who was right, who was wrong. Um, like we need to know what is like,
Yeah.
what is this scenario and like, what is the best step that we can take forward? And I think that only comes from, you know, clear questions that are asked and us understanding the situation.
I love that. So you know, at Eat Real, our team is like crushing it right now, and I see your team crushing it. And I know that like for your team, it's like sounds like it's the principles, it's the style of meetings, it's like your leadership style that is so curious and supportive and is genuinely like built on trust and passion to help each person succeed and the company succeed. But are there any other like kind of key elements that you think make Plunge at the forefront, like that, like when you think about how did you build such a successful team and org?
I mean, we've gone through different seasons and phases of our
Yeah.
team. We've been at different sizes, bigger, smaller, like across, you know, over the years. So it's always adjusting to like, there's never an end product. I think it's like always being honest to what our situation is and like actually where we're stacking right now and not where we were 6 months ago.
Yeah.
You know, we just have a really good team. I got a great leader of HR and people. So she's a great outlet for, you know, being my right-hand person to support me in, you know, or me supporting her in building this out.
And the people, like the
Building,
investment of people.
yeah, building the infrastructure. I think it's, you know, our product lens is really helpful because people are bought into what we're doing.
Right.
Like we're not selling a widget, we're selling true transformative products. So, you know, we're really, how do we incentivize the team to actually do these products? You know, we have a bonus program that people cold plunge in sauna. So if you cold plunge in sauna X number of times, you get bonuses. So it's like,
love it.
like
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I think that those are factors we run an EOS style meetings. The entrepreneur
Break down what that is, just in case people don't know.
EOS stands for the entrepreneurial operating system, and it's a format and structure and meeting structure within the organization. We've hybrided a bit, but there's a very clear structure of what department meetings are and what executive meetings are and how they flow. And it creates an outlet. How we try and run it is it's like within this meeting structure, anything can be brought up, and there's an avenue always, no matter what's being worked on, that it can be raised up within the organization and be at a round table that people can discuss. I think that's the core dynamic to it, that how we utilize it.
I think it also breeds like fewer, better meetings. Like it's just like,
Yeah.
there are certain meetings already on the books for those things. And then it's not like everyone has an intention.
Totally. We're less reactive. I mean, we've gone through different phases. Like we grew like crazy our first 3.5 years, like, you know, hold on for dear life type thing.
Yeah.
To, you know, now it's less growth and more operational efficiency.
Yeah.
So different orgs, different muscles, different skill sets.
Yeah.
And so that's been a transition for us just from a culture standpoint, from being like high growth company to like anyone that's been there, it's a growth company to an operational efficiency company. Like they're showing up. It's a very different day of work. And so that's like, you know, as a leader for me of like getting people to, first buy in to each one because you're, you know, and how we, the culture around that, you know, still making that exciting, getting people excited on the outcomes from both sides of it. So yeah, I think that's where we've, you know, had to transition as an organization.
I love it. I also want to, I want to talk, you talked about one product a lot, the Plunge. We haven't talked about the sauna as much. I want to talk about that. But before we do, like another thing I think that differentiates the Plunge is that from the beginning, like you built into the company a give back, right? Like you gave to Eat Real really early, right? And so can you just talk about like how, like kind of that altruistic side of Plunge? I feel like there are a lot of health and wellness companies out there, but you're one that like not only helps people be healthier, but then invest in nonprofits like Eat Real that's changing the health of America. And so could you talk about like your theory of, you know, all boats rise in terms of giving back to the community?
Yeah, I mean, it was critical to Mike and I. Mike's my co-founder, early on, where it was like definitely like successful times. Like we need to be, and not just successful, but just in general in this org, like there has to be a give back process. Like our products are transformational, how do we support, this way of altruistic capitalism. Like we were passionate about that. Or just using capital. Like I love capitalism, and it's like, what are the best sides of that?
Yeah.
And how do we utilize that to raise, and like you said, all boats rise, raise things up. And these were areas that matter to us. We wanted to support, things around water. We wanted to support things around our food system and kids. And obviously you guys fit in a couple of those categories, if not all three. So you guys were definitely one of the orgs that we identified early into, like, this is a great thing that we can get behind, we can support. We always thought it would be cool, like, for our customers to know that their product that they're buying that's transforming themselves is also, like, there is a return here, that this is going to go help and raise up other, other groups that this is having an impact on. So it's been huge for us. Makes us feel good, and huge impact.
Yeah, I also feel like you went all in, because not only did you donate, but then you were out in schools having lunch with us and filming. You had me on your podcast, which was so much fun. You had me at the headquarters. Like you really showed up for us in so many ways, and you made introductions for us. Like you were that corporate partner that gave and then like got involved too and went all in. So just thank you. I feel like that's like, not only did you start the company in a way that was altruistic and gave back, but then like you went all in, so that it's just like, it's a different level of engagement that you don't see from every business leader or team. So I just saw firsthand the power, and you helped us reach so many more schools across the country. So forever grateful for your support. So thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Our pleasure.
So really quick to the other products, saunaing. So I sauna whenever I can. Like I'll even book a hotel that, like, if it has I'll filter like who has saunas where I'm going, because I travel so much for work around the country. And I'll plan meetups with girlfriends and friends, different friends around saunaing. But I just want to talk a little bit about your sauna. So so talk to me about your sauna, because it's like, they're kind of two. There's the infrared sauna and the high heat saunas, and you have a high heat sauna. So talk to me about that, and why you built it, the beautiful, I think it's the prettiest sauna. I think it's the best designed sauna out there. Like, who doesn't want that at their home or in their backyard or in whatever they're building or their office, etc. So yeah, I hope more offices. I hope more. I just, like, there are so many hotels I wish would retro with Plunge and whatnot. Like, there's so many places where I'm like, that needs a Plunge, but like, why did you decide that gorgeous design and then that style?
We wanted the traditional. When we were starting out, we were getting into sauna. We were a lot of the science was showing was a lot of the science was built around this, like 175 and higher with the temperature. So infrared didn't, like, I had infrareds. I had them at my other commercial businesses, and we like them, but we were just like, let's go, when we start this journey, let's go down the traditional, definitely to start. And so we wanted that high heat sauna. And then our journey to what we have today it was pretty funny. Like, we partnered with these what we call these sauna nerds out of Wisconsin.
Oh, I love it. And then like,
yeah, it's
from the Midwest. We know how hot, we know about contrast. So
yeah, they great. These two guys.
I can see them.
Yeah. And they kind of came to us and really pitched us on doing this design with them. And, Mike and I were so outside the box in what we wanted to do. Like, we wanted, like, the design that we have was like a really, like, engineering feat, was pretty challenging in how we wanted to set it up, because it's a panel. Anyone that hasn't seen it, it's a panel format. So most high heat saunas are still like a barrel, or you build them wood piece by wood piece, and they can take days to build. It's building a little home. We wanted to ship in panels similar to an infrared. We wanted to get high heat. We wanted the heater already built in. Most high heat saunas, you're going to buy it, and the heater is going to show up separately in a box that you're going to have to wire in. So we wanted to, like, do all this stuff to make it simple, but we also wanted, like, an ergonomic back. We were always like, why are you in a sauna? You feel like you're tight. Yeah. I want to, like, feel like I'm reclining. Yeah. I want the roof to feel like it's expanding on me. So it was like these kind of pie in the sky ideas. Yeah. Like, this is what we want. And they were like, and they worked with us. We spent like a year doing all the design on this. And we basically found a design where we could, ship it in panels, have the heater wired in, have an ergonomic back, have a sloped roof. And then the curveball we had was, we were with Kelly Starrett, who's, Kelly's a kind of the mobility recovery guru in the space, New York Times bestseller. We're in his sauna, and he was like, how cool would it be if you could, like, ride a stationary bike in here or do kettlebell swings. And we were like, and then that went
Planks. That's my favorite. That also gets you hot fast if you can do planks.
exactly. We like how to train, how to use your sauna outside of just a sauna. Like, and I'm not saying you ride your stationary bike
legs up the wall.
degrees, but you can do a high heat workout at 110. And it's, it's way better for heat adaptation. So you can, your workouts can go longer and you can train for some of these endurance. So that was like a concept. So we made the door just wide enough to get an assault bike in there. So there's these, not that many
I didn't know you did that. That's cool.
Yeah. Not many people buy our sauna to put an assault bike in, but it's like a backdrop.
Challenge accepted. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. You'll love it. So yeah, those are all the factors that went into it. And we came out with the sauna we have today. And, we just launched.
It has a view, right? Like you can look out, not all of them.
Yeah, we want it. Exactly. It's like the roof expands. So you feel like a sauna in that last 2 minutes when it's so hard, it's like the opposite of a cold plunge.
Right.
It's like so nice to get in, but then the end's like excruciating.
Yeah, it is.
Where cold is so hard to start and then it gets easier at the end. Whereas sauna, we wanted something that like when it felt like you were coming to this end and you had to get out, like could it feel expansive in there? And so we wanted the roof to go up and we wanted glass. And so, we were able to do that. And it also fits to kind of the plunge. Like when you see a plunge product, you kind of know it's a plunge product.
Yeah. And it's angular. Like the lines are so nice. Yeah. Yeah.
So all those factors went into the sauna we have today. And it's been really well received. And, we're seeing a lot of success with it.
I love it. And what's your sauna protocol? What's like kind of the most research and then your Ryan kind of protocol for what you try to get in a week and what the timing, ideal time, ideal temperature, go.
Yeah, I would say that my protocol, I'm in probably 3 nights a week, 15 to 20 minutes. And then Sunday, 3 nights a week. And that Sundays I'll do like my full recovery day and that's sauna, cold plunging back and forth. And then the other nights I just go sauna and I go 15 to 20. I just go in there and read. I love it. I set it to about 190 and that's great. I'm dripping sweat, screaming to get out. Science, the thing about sauna is they're seeing it's like, it's the more you do it, the more benefits you get.
Because it's supposed to be so detoxifying from what I've read, and you're sweating out toxins, like your heart is beating. Yeah,
it's a huge cardiovascular. There's obviously your heart rate's getting up in there. It's a mimic to exercise. It's the big one is they did the study in Finland or Sweden, and it was over X number of years, a couple decades actually, and it was basically showing at sauna, if you were to do a sauna like more than 4 or more days a week at like 15 to 20 minutes at this high heat, 170 and higher, it was lowering like all cause mortality by like 40%, which is absurd. That's like all your diseases, all your, cardiovascular disease.
Overall, human health and longevity, ability to live a healthy, long life improved.
Your lifespan and health, I mean, mostly health span, but like also lifespan, it was extending out. So that's a unique one about sauna that I think it's just you do it and you're healthier. And with that, the caveat I have to give out because there's extreme people out there is like, 45 degrees at 200 plus degrees. That's probably not the move for you.
With caution.
You want to be mineralized. You want to be hydrated while you're getting in this experience. You have to know what you're offsetting from your.
Don't go too extreme.
Yeah, exactly. But use it, I like to use it at night. It's great for my sleep, especially in the wintertime.
And you go cold after. They always say to end cold. Or I was in a sauna with a bunch of the top longevity folks, and I cornered them. Basically, they're like cornered in a sauna. They were hot and they couldn't go anywhere. They were just like warm sweating, and I'm like, okay, wait, tell me how many long. And they were like, always end cold.
That is the rule of thumb. The only difference I would say is cold has different impacts to people at different times of the day, especially at nighttime. Some people, it's great for sleep, and then our customers, they really kind of wakes them up, and it's not great.
It can feel like a cup of coffee, so that's interesting. Yeah, and everyone's different. So interesting.
So it's more of like
when you do it at night, you not
when
plunge?
I'm at plunge, and I'm like midday or something for sure, ending on the cold. At nighttime when I sauna, I rarely get in the cold after. And if I do, I get in the cold for like 30 seconds.
Got it.
And that's just to kind of like cool me down a little, just so I don't feel like, especially in the summer, I don't want to go to bed like sweating.
Right.
That's the protocol.
Okay. One other kind of question looking out. So you're at the forefront of the health and wellness industry. So how do you see it really changing in the next, I won't go 5 years, we'll just say in the next 2 years, just because things are changing so quickly. But what do you see on the horizon in terms of the health and wellness industry?
Yeah, I think, I mean, there's a lot of factors going in at play here. I think access to your, like we talked about wearables at the beginning of the pod.
Yeah.
Like that's one category of us getting data, real time feedback on ourselves.
Yeah.
We see a ton of, blood work companies that are popping out, like direct to consumer blood work companies. That is like a unique play that there's going to be some integration of that and then into your wearable that you'll get as AI comes out. I think we'll have some, like that stack will be built, like your blood work panel will be built on AI modeling, and you'll have kind of your AI doctor that will be giving you trends and support along the way. It's going to kind of convergence of all this. And you're going to start to get where we really want to take it is like, what the cold and sauna is doing. You can get direct feedback. Like you have your Whoop and your Aura now that you can see, but let's actually track. And some of these blood work tests, we're talking to a lot of companies, like it's not far off that you're going to have this at home. Like you can do the tests at home, but we're talking that might be 50 biomarkers. Like soon you're going to have tests at home with 100 biomarkers.
Yeah. Someone gave me a little home spittle, a cube where you could do like that, and that was the future, that you would have a home spittle, like a little cube where you could pop in your results, like, and then get it on your app. Like the world, it's about to change so quickly.
Totally. And that's like, right now it's like you test maybe once a quarter and you're pretty ahead of the game, but your body's changing a lot over that 3 months. So that's a place that I think we'll be getting a lot more understanding of ourselves. Then you have like the Novos of the world, NovoScan and Ezra on, like cancer at some point will be a way that, you're not going to be far down the road. Like you're going to
catch the Gallery test, the Prenuvo. There's so many new options out for cancer and full body screening.
That's where I think it's going. It's just more personalized. I think there's, and it's just going to keep getting better. So I kind of just see all these things there's a bunch of health and wellness, and soon they will kind of converge more together. So that's what
I think we're going to know. I agree. We're going to know more about ourselves, and our health is going to be more and more in our hands. So I think it's an exciting future. But thank you for leading us into the future. Thank you for helping me unlock my health. Thank you for helping Eat Real unlock the health of children across the country. And just thank you for your vibrant, passionate leadership that you are just showing, I think, a new way of leadership, and it's truly inspiring. So thank you.
Thank you, Nora. It's been fun supporting you guys and getting behind everything you guys are doing.